Hey everybody, Kevin here, and his little something for your performance edge. Now today we're going to talk about structures for success. Now, every organization has org charts and reporting and all those kinds of things. But here's the thing I want to break down today, because if you are a leader of a team, your team has connecting points to it. There's a part where everything connects to each other, and then each of those individuals connect to you. And you want the dynamics of how things connect with each other to go well, but sometimes they don't. And often you're can find yourself somewhere in the middle, which is where you don't want to be. That's not necessarily a structure. That's more of you being a ping-pong ball that bounces back and forth. It doesn't bring any stability. It's really an unbalanced structure. It could be too flat of a structure in some cases if you're bouncing back and forth in a given situation, especially when there's conflict, especially when there's struggle, especially when there's the need to work things out and deal with things in a way that's constructive. And constructive are things, obviously structures and construction, it all kind of matches. So here's the thing I want to really impress upon you, and I want you to be considering as things move forward. How do you structure yourself for success for those that you lead? And this is obviously going to be for people who lead others. But in many cases, a stable structure will require a level of connection between you and an individual who might have a problem with another individual. In other words, when the pieces aren't working so well, and someone comes to you and says, hey, so-and-so, this person here, isn't working so well with me, or there's a dissatisfaction with something. Well, guess what? The key right now is to keep that structure tight. So you want to be able to pull that person together and say, well, let's go talk to this person about it, or bring us all together to talk about the situation, rather than say, well, why don't you do this, and then force them to come back, and then this person comes to you, and now you're dealing with the back and forth. No. Structure is about pulling triangles tight and stable. And often, if you are leading, you're at the top of the pyramid, right? And there's two other things here at the bottom left and bottom right. Well, yeah, we do want them working well, but there's just times when it doesn't. And now I got to get involved. But we're going to go a very straight line here, not a back and forth line, a very straight line that says, let's deal with this in real time in the best way possible. And what I found in this is a number of things. One is, when everyone knows that you're going to pull the triangle tight, the chances are they're going to do the heavy lifting to have whatever level of necessary conversations they need to have to fix things on the front side. So it's going to teach them to be more self-reliant and interdependent on solving problems and dealing with things. But however, the other part, it's accountability too. So if someone brings something to you and it's like, hey, let's deal with this in real time, we're bringing this in, there's a high level of, hey, words matter, feelings matter, situations need to be clarified. We need to come to an agreement or an understanding of what we need to do with this, and let's work together. And it will reduce the amount of things that come to the top. Obviously, it should, and you want it to, but it also gives you a really clear framework about how to deal with situations in real time that need your attention. And with that means we have a lot of success, because we don't have a lot of weird, crazy gaps that get filled with a bunch of they said this and they did this and who interpreted this and they intended this, and this just changes the whole dynamic in a very powerful way. And guess what? You stay really, really informed in the whole process of this, by the way. You stay really engaged in everything that's going on, and your ability to be able to, in one-on-ones, coach effectively each of the leaders that are under your influence or under your responsibility or your leadership, to really help them go to another level and level up their skills, and making sure that all the structures stay effective and powerful and successful. And that is the game. So that's a huge invisible. A lot of times I go to organizations, I'm always looking at, are there some structures here? Where are the structures? And I always try to see triangles everywhere. And triangles aren't bad things if they're done right. Triangles are not so good when they're unstable. And so move away from the they said and who said and how said, and more into the, hey, let's solve and not deal with the saids. And let's get into all that reality and the kind of solutions that really move the needle and make a difference in the organization and everybody's leadership involved. So, hey, structures are key to success. And it's a big thing because always remember, it's an invisible. And when you see the invisible, you become unstoppable. So do some damage. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time.